Now we have interview with Mrs. Campeta, CEO for BRD Bank. Welcome to our program Zoom Africa.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we want to understand first what is the BRD Bank and what's the role for the bank in Rwanda or outside Rwanda.
So the Development Bank of Rwanda operates only in Rwanda, but we leverage funds from all over the world, and our mandate is basically to support government. We're the vehicle that government uses to give loans to the private sector. So we are debt financing institutions, and we invest in areas that are priority areas for the government for a national plan.
So if you're talking about the priority areas for the government, what is that to let the people know?
So you have areas such as affordable housing, of course now green and climate resilience financing, social infrastructure. We have a big portfolio on renewable energy. We also have a portfolio on other areas, but basically it's the areas where commercial banks typically will not be interested to invest because the rate of returns are slightly lower, but these areas would have a high development socioeconomic impact.
So we heard about a green fund. So we want to understand it more. What's a green fund and what the Rwanda do to fight against the climate change and to create a new things like green.
So Rwanda has always been at the forefront of green financing and the green agenda, but it's been mainly for the public sector. So it's mainly been government projects. So the new Ireme Invest facility is a facility that's 100% dedicated to the private sector of Rwanda, and it's a one-stop shop. So the private sector can come, they can get access to project preparation facility under the Rwanda Green Fund, they can get access to cheap loans under the Development Bank of Rwanda, they can get access to credit guarantees, they can get access to advisory services, and so it's really a place where they can find different financing instruments for them to create green assets in the private sector in Rwanda. So it's very innovative because it's a fund of funds, so we get other funders to contribute, and that money gets to the private sector in a way that's scalable and that's fast.
So there is a project called Orema, a project. So we want to understand it. What is the story for it?
Sorry?
The Orema fund.
The Ireme Fund?
Yeah.
Yes. So the Ireme Fund is indeed this facility that I've just described. Right now we have a target of raising $300 million. Here at COP we successfully raised $104 million that covers credit lines, setup costs and guarantees. So it was very successful. We were targeting 100 million for the first capitalization and we got 104. But the fund mobilization continues until we hit our target of $300 million.
Yeah, so finally we want to deliver a message from the PRD bank to the investor to let them come. So what are you going to say?
So I'd like to tell them that in Rwanda the environment is very favorable for the private sector in general, but now even more for the private sector that's interested in green projects. And we have the financing instrument to help them in terms of their investment, and the regulation is very business friendly, especially for green investments. So I would tell them, come to Rwanda. And then for people who have money that they would like to invest in the fund, because we may have companies or have partners that want to invest in Ireme Invest, I'd like to tell them, please come, and we're especially looking for concessional funding at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.